Welcome to ReadFlow Audiobooks, where we bring you powerful audiobooks designed to inspire transformation, discipline, and success. Today you're about to begin a journey into the 1-hour habit that's everything. What if just 60 minutes a day could completely rewrite your future? What if one focused habit could unlock the health, wealth, and peace of mind you've been searching for? This audiobook reveals how to harness the hidden power of 1 hour and turn it into the foundation of a life that keeps expanding. So, get ready to take notes, open your mind, and imagine what your life could look like when you dedicate just 1 hour to your highest growth. Chapter 1: The Power of 60 Minutes. Time is the great equalizer. No matter where you were born, what resources you have, or what circumstances surround you, every single person is given the same 24 hours in a day. The wealthy don't get more hours. The brilliant don't get extra. The successful don't get a secret 25th hour. We all wake up with the same clock ticking. The question is not how much time you have, it's how you use it. The truth most people overlook is that you don't need to change your entire day to change your life. You don't need to flip everything upside down, wake up at 4 a.m. or work until you collapse. What you need is focus. What you need is intentionality. And what you truly need is just 1 hour. A single concentrated slice of time dedicated your growth, your vision, and your transformation. That's the secret of the 1-hour habit. For many, an hour seems small, almost insignificant. We waste it scrolling through our phones, watching something forgettable, or lost in distractions that leave no lasting value. But when you reclaim that hour, when you shape it into a daily ritual, it becomes the seed that grows into everything you want in life. 60 minutes may look small on the surface, but stacked day after day, it compounds into unstoppable momentum. Why 1 hour works? Think about this. 1 hour a day is 7 hours a week. That's more than 28 hours a month. In a year, it's 365 hours, more than 9 full work weeks of focused effort. Imagine what you could accomplish in 9 weeks of undistracted work on your dream. A book written, a skill mastered, a body transformed, a business launched, a mindset rewired. And yet most people throw that potential away. They spend those hours reacting instead of creating, consuming instead of building, existing instead of living. The 1-hour habit changes this dynamic. It tells your brain, your body, and your life, this time is mine, and I will use it to create the future I want. But time is not found, it is made. The 1-hour habit shatters the excuse of no time, because it proves you can carve 60 minutes out of any day, if you value it enough. Think of how much time is lost to small habits: checking social media, binge watching, oversleeping, gossiping, procrastinating. Each of those steals the very hour that could change your life. The difference between those who succeed and those who stagnate is not usually talent or luck. It's what they do with their hours. This hour is sacred. It is not borrowed. It is not optional. And it is not up for compromise. It is the foundation of your transformation. For some, this will be the first hour of the morning, before the world makes demand. For others, it might be better at night, after responsibilities quiet down. What matters is not when it happens, but that it happens. Consistency matters more than perfection. How to use the hour. Here is the beauty of the 1-hour habit. It is flexible, but it must be intentional. The content of your hour will shift depending on your goals, but the principle is the same. Dedicate this time to something that elevates your life. For example, if you want to sharpen your mind, your hour might be study, reading, or skill development. If you want to create wealth, your hour might be business building, networking, or strategizing. If you want inner peace, your hour might be meditation, journaling, or spiritual growth. The 1-hour habit is not about filling time with busyness. It is about focusing on the one thing that brings you closer to the person you want to become. The science of focused time. Research on deliberate practice shows that intense focus for short periods is far more effective than unfocused effort spread thin. 1 focused hour of true engagement beats 3 hours of half-hearted distraction. Why? Because your brain thrives on clarity. When you tell it, this is the hour for growth, it channels energy, creativity, and problem-solving into that time. Over weeks and months, neural pathways strengthen, habits solidify, and results multiply. This is why the 1-hour habit works. It is small enough to be sustainable, but powerful enough to rewire your mind and shape your life. The mental barriers. Of course, when you first attempt the 1-hour habit, resistance will rise. Your mind will whisper excuses. You're too tired. You're too busy. Just skip today. These are not truths. They are the inertia of your old self, the pull of your comfort zone. Here's the secret. The discomfort you feel in the beginning is the sign you're breaking free. The very resistance is proof that this hour matters. Push through it. Show up even when it feels small or inconvenient. Over time, what was once effort becomes natural, and what was once a choice becomes identity. The identity shift. The 1-hour habit is not just about what you do, it's about who you become. When you dedicate a sacred hour every day to growth, you stop identifying as someone who wishes and start identifying as someone who. You no longer say, I want to write a book someday. You say, I write every day. You no longer say, I want to get fit someday. You say, I train every day. You no longer say, I want to grow someday. You say, I grow every day. This shift from wishing to being is the real transformation. Habits create identity, and identity creates destiny, compounding over time. Here is the most overlooked truth. Greatness is not built in sudden explosions. It is built in daily deposits, compounded over time. The 1-hour habit harnesses the power of compounding. At first, results may seem small. 1 hour of writing does not produce a book. 1 hour of exercise does not transform your body, but stacked day after day, the results multiply. Words become chapters, chapters become books, workouts become strength, strength becomes vitality, small steps become giant leaps. Most people quit because they judge progress too soon. They stop after a week or a month, believing nothing has changed. But the 1-hour habit is a long game. Its magic reveals itself to those who persist. The first step. So where do you begin? You begin by making a commitment. Today, not tomorrow. Choose your hour. Define your habit. Guard it fiercely. Do not let the world steal it, because this hour is your bridge to the life you want. It may feel small at first, but remember, small disciplines create massive transformations. The 1-hour habit is not about intensity. It is about consistency. Give yourself 60 minutes. Protect it like treasure, and watch as that hour reshapes not only your day, but your destiny. Chapter 2. Building the hour that builds you. Every great transformation begins not with a single leap, but with a single structure, a framework strong enough to carry the weight of change. The 1-hour habit is not about randomly filling time with activity. It is about building an intentional hour that builds you. When people first hear about dedicating 1 hour a day, they nod in agreement. It sounds simple, even easy, but the reality is that without a clear structure, the hour slips away. One distraction, one message, one sudden urge to check something quickly, and suddenly the hour is gone. To harness the full power of this practice, you must learn to build the hour like an architect builds a foundation with precision, clarity, and intention. This chapter is about constructing that sacred space of time so it becomes unshakable. The psychology of a sacred hour. There is something powerful about declaring a piece of your day untouchable. When you say, "This hour is mine," you are not only making a schedule, you are making a statement. You are telling yourself, "I matter, my future matters, my growth matters." Most people live their days in reaction. They respond to emails, to demands, to obligations. They give their time to everyone else and save the leftovers for themselves if there are any. But you are building a new life, and that life begins with reclaiming a prime slice of your time as sacred ground. This is not just an appointment in your calendar, it is an identity marker. It is the declaration that your growth is not negotiable. Choosing the hour. The first key to building your hour is deciding when it happens. This is more important than most realize. Your chosen hour must align with both your energy and your environment. For some, the early morning is unbeatable. The world is still, distractions are minimal, and your mind is fresh. A morning hour becomes a launch pad for the rest of the day, infusing everything you do with momentum. For others, evening may be the perfect time. Responsibilities have quieted, and the day has delivered its demand. The evening hour can become a sanctuary, a time to reflect, recharge, and grow in peace. The truth is, there is no universal best hour. The best hour is the one you will protect. What matters is not the clock, but the consistency. If you show up at the same time, in the same way, day after day, your brain begins to associate that hour with transformation. It becomes a ritual, not just a routine. Human beings are creatures of association. If you want your brain to take this hour seriously, you must signal to it that something important is happening. This means creating a ritual of preparation. It could be as simple as making a cup of coffee, lighting a candle, or putting on headphones. It could be journaling a few sentences to set intention, or breathing deeply to clear your mind. These rituals may feel small, but they are powerful triggers. They tell your mind it's time. They create a mental boundary between distraction and focus, between ordinary time and sacred time. The focus formula. Once you have chosen your hour and created your ritual, the next question is, how do you use it effectively? Here's a formula you can adapt. Clarity 5-10 minutes. Begin your hour with focus setting. Ask yourself, what is my outcome for this hour? Write it down. Define success. The clearer you are, the more potent the hour becomes. Deep work 40-45 minutes. Enter your main activity. This is where the magic happens. Work on the single thing that moves your life forward. Eliminate distractions. Phone on silent. Notifications off. Full immersion. Reflection. 5-10 minutes. Close the hour by reviewing what you did. Capture insights. Track progress. And note what you will do next. This not only reinforces growth, but builds continuity. Clarity, deep work, reflection, momentum. This structure keeps your hour from dissolving into scattered effort. It transforms it into a machine of progress. In our world, they are endless. Buzzes, alerts, feeds, and constant interruptions. Left unchecked, they will devour your hour. To protect your time, you must become ruthless. Turn off notifications. Put your phone in another room. Close your email tab. Let people know this hour is unavailable. Think of it this way. If you had a meeting with your boss, would you constantly interrupt it to check Instagram? No, you would give full attention. Treat yourself with the same respect. This hour is a meeting with your future. Nothing deserves to interrupt it. The resistance within. Even without external distractions, there is another enemy. Internal resistance. Your own mind will rebel against focus. It will whisper excuses. Just 5 more minutes of rest. Just one quick check online. You'll start tomorrow. This resistance is natural. It is the voice of inertia, the gravitational pull of your old habits. But here's the key. You don't need to silence it. You only need to override it. Every time you push through resistance and show up for your hour, you weaken its grip. Every repetition strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. Over time, the voice grows quieter, and your discipline grows stronger. The energy factor. Your hour is not only about time, it is about energy. If you show up exhausted and drained, your focus will scatter. That's why you must pay attention to how you fuel and recharge yourself. Sleep. Protect your rest. Your brain cannot operate at peak capacity without it. Nutrition. Eat to fuel, not to fog. Heavy processed foods dull your energy. Clean foods sharpen it. Movement. Even 5 minutes of stretching or light exercise before your hour can unlock energy and focus. When your body is primed, your mind follows. Think of your 1-hour habit as a performance. Like an athlete, you must prepare your energy for the environment of success. Your physical space matters. If your hour is surrounded by clutter, distractions, or chaos, your mind will mirror that. Build an environment that supports focus. Clear your workspace. Remove unnecessary items. Keep only what fuels your growth. A notebook, a book, your tools. If possible, designate a consistent location for your hour. Over time, your brain will anchor that space to deep focus. Simply entering it will signal transformation. The non-negotiable mindset. Here's the truth. The 1-hour habit only works if it is non-negotiable. If you treat it as optional, life will always find a way to steal it. You must approach this hour with the same seriousness you would a critical appointment. If someone asks for your time, you say, I'm unavailable during that hour. If your own mind tries to bargain, you remind yourself, this is not optional, this is who I am. Consistency is not built on motivation. It is built on commitment. When the 1-hour habit becomes a non-negotiable identity, motivation becomes irrelevant. You simply show up. The compound effect in action. Imagine this. You dedicate 1 hour a day to writing. At first it feels small. A page here, a paragraph there. But after 1 month, you have 30 pages. After 3 months, nearly 100. After a year, a complete manuscript. Or imagine you dedicate 1 hour a day to fitness. At first it's just a few workouts, but after a month, you feel stronger. After 6 months, your body transforms. After a year, you are unrecognizable. This is the compound effect. The silent power of consistent, small actions, multiplied over time. And it all begins with the structure of your hour. Don't just think about it. Write it down. When will it happen? What ritual will you use to begin? How will you structure clarity, deep work and reflection? How will you eliminate distraction? The moment you design your hour, you have already taken the first step toward transformation. Closing the gap. The distance between who you are and who you want to become is not measured in years. It is measured in hours. Every hour you dedicate to growth closes the gap. This is why the 1 hour habit matters. It is not about working harder. It is about working deliberately. It is about choosing to spend time on what matters most, instead of what matters least. Your future is not built by chance. It is built by design, and the blueprint is in your hand. So begin now. Protect your hour. Structure it with clarity. Enter it with focus. End it with reflection. This is the hour that builds you, and when you build the hour, you build the life. Chapter 3: Mastering Consistency. The secret ingredient of transformation. You now understand the power of 1 hour and the framework that gives it structure. But here's the truth most people don't want to face. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is not brilliance, talent, or luck. It is consistency. Consistency is the great equalizer. It is the bridge between intention and transformation. Without it, even the most powerful ideas collapse. With it, even the smallest habits grow into unstoppable momentum. If you want to unlock the full power of the 1 hour habit, you must become relentless in consistency. This chapter is about cultivating that persistence, training your discipline, and making sure nothing stands between you and the hour that changes everything. They want dramatic results, fast. They work for 3 hours one day, skip the next, binge again the following week, then burn out and quit. Intensity is thrilling, but it is inconsistent. Transformation doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. Think of it like compound interest. $10 invested once is meaningless, but $10 invested every single day, over time it grows into wealth. The same is true with your hour. Missing one day seems small, but missing repeatedly erodes the chain. A single break makes the next break easier. Before long the habit vanishes, and you're back where you started. The magic isn't in occasional big effort, it's in daily steady commitment. The identity shift. Here's the deeper truth. Consistency isn't just about discipline, it's about identity. When you show up every day, no matter what, you tell yourself, "This is who I am." You are no longer someone trying to write, you are a writer. Not someone hoping to get fit. You are an athlete in training. Not someone attempting to grow. You are a student of mastery. Your 1 hour habit becomes part of your identity, and identity fuels consistency. When you skip, it feels unnatural, because you're breaking alignment with who you are becoming. The 5-minute rule. One of the greatest weapons against inconsistency is the 5-minute rule. It says if resistance feels overwhelming, commit to just 5 minutes. Tell yourself, I only need to show up for 5 minutes. That's all. Most of the time, 5 minutes is enough to overcome inertia. Once you start, momentum carries you forward. But even if you truly stop after 5 minutes, you have still protected the chain. You have reinforced the identity of showing up. Consistency is less about duration and more about repetition. Even a shortened version of your habit protects your progress. Travel complicates routines. If you rely only on ideal conditions, you will fail. That's why you need a fallback plan, a scaled-down version of your hour that you can do anywhere, anytime. For example, if your 1 hour habit is exercise, have a 20-minute bodyweight routine ready. If it's writing, Commit to journaling 200 words on your phone. If it's learning, listen to an audiobook while commuting. The point isn't perfection, it's preservation. Your fallback plan keeps the chain unbroken, even when life gets messy. Tracking the chain. There's an old principle made famous by comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Don't break the chain. He used a calendar to mark every day he wrote jokes. The goal wasn't to write perfectly, it was to never miss a day. Over time, the streak itself became motivation. You can do the same. Create a visible system to track your 1-hour habit. Use a calendar, a habit tracker app, or even sticky notes. Each day you complete the hour, mark it boldly. Watch the chain grow. Soon you'll want to protect the chain more than you want to give in to laziness. Missing one day becomes painful because it means breaking your streak. This is how consistency becomes self-reinforcing. The power of tiny wins. Another secret to consistency is the power of tiny wins. Many people quit because they chase massive results too soon. But big wins are built on small ones. Every time you complete your 1-hour habit, you've won. Every day you protect your hour, you've succeeded. These daily victories add up. They rewire your brain for momentum and confidence. Celebrate them. Acknowledge them. They matter more than you realize. They aren't about reality. They're about comfort. The way to defeat excuses is to prepare for them. Before you start your 1-hour habit journey, write down your 3 most common excuses. Then write counter-arguments. For example, counter: I do have time. I waste at least an hour scrolling on my phone. Excuse: I'm too tired. If I skip now, tomorrow collapses. When excuses appear, your answers are ready. The science of momentum. Consistency works because of momentum. Newton's first law says, an object in motion stays in motion. The same applies to your life. Once you're in motion, it's easier to keep going than to stop. This is why starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, your brain locks into rhythm. That's why the 5-minute rule works. That's why streak tracking works. They help you overcome the initial resistance, so momentum can carry you forward. Your 1-hour habit isn't about building discipline in isolation. It's about creating momentum that makes discipline automatic. The emotional rewards of consistency. Consistency doesn't only deliver results, it delivers emotional stability. When you show up daily, you eliminate the guilt of procrastination. You replace it with pride, confidence, and self-respect. Think about how it feels when you keep a promise to yourself. There's a quiet power in it. You no longer question your ability to follow through. You trust yourself. That trust is priceless. Most people live in cycles of broken promises to themselves. They start strong, quit early, and repeat. Each failure weakens their belief in their own word. But you are building a different story. With every consistent hour, you rebuild self-trust. That self-trust becomes the foundation for greater achievement. Consistency and the long game. Let's zoom out. Imagine where you'll be 1 year from now, if you keep the 1-hour habit consistent. That's 365 hours of growth. The equivalent of over 9 40-hour work weeks invested in yourself. Nearly a full quarter of a year of concentrated transformation. Now imagine 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. The compounding is staggering. This is why consistency matters more than talent or resources. Most people give up long before the payoff arrives. But if you stay the course, your advantage grows exponentially. Building consistency through community. One final key: consistency thrives in accountability. Alone, it's easy to slip. With community, it's harder to quit. Find a friend, a mentor, or an online group where you can share progress. Tell them your commitment, report your streaks, celebrate wins together. Accountability doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger. When others know you're committed, you rise to meet your word. The consistency challenge. Here is your assignment. Commit to a 30-day consistency challenge. For the next month, protect your 1-hour habit every single day. Track it, celebrate it, share it with someone. 30 days may feel long, but in the grand scheme of your life it's tiny. And yet, those 30 days will change how you see yourself. You'll stop questioning whether you can be consistent. You'll prove that you are consistent. But it is the quiet force that separates the dreamers from the doers. Every time you show up for your hour, you are laying bricks. Alone, a brick looks small, but over time, Those bricks become a wall, then a fortress, then a kingdom. The secret ingredient of transformation is not luck, it is not inspiration, it is not talent. The secret is consistency. So show up, protect the hour, never break the chain, because when you master consistency, there is nothing you cannot build. Chapter 4. The power of focus. Doing what truly matters. Time by itself is not enough. Many people sit for hours each day, but accomplish little. They drift, they dabble, they scatter their energy artes, 100 tasks, and in the end, their hour produces nothing of value. The truth is this: an unfocused hour is wasted time. A focused hour is a life changer. The 1 hour habit only transforms your life if you learn the art of focus, directing your energy toward what truly matters. Focus is the magnifying glass that turns the light of your effort into fire. Without it, your 1 hour is diluted. With it, your 1 hour is unstoppable. This chapter is about cultivating the kind of focus that cuts through distraction, destroys procrastination, and channels your energy into results. The myth of multitasking. Our culture celebrates multitasking as if it were a superpower, but neuroscience reveals the truth. Multitasking doesn't make you efficient, it makes you scattered. Every time you switch between tasks, your brain pays a heavy tax. It takes time and energy to refocus, and the result is lower quality, slower progress, and greater exhaustion. Your 1 hour habit must never be about doing many things at once. It must be about doing the right thing with undivided attention. If you want transformation, you cannot afford to dilute your hour. Think of a laser beam. Light is everywhere, but it only cuts through steel when concentrated. Your 1 hour must become a laser, sharply directed, fiercely concentrated, and impossible to ignore. Identifying what matters most. The first step to focus is clarity. What deserves your 1 hour? Ask yourself, if I invested 1 hour a day in a single pursuit, what would change my life most dramatically in 1 year? Is it mastering a skill that will unlock new opportunities? Is it building your body so you gain health and confidence? Is it writing the book or creating the project that's been in your heart? Is it studying knowledge that will multiply your income? Your hour is too valuable to waste on trivial tasks. Choose something that builds, compounds, and transforms. Your focus should align with your deepest goals, not your shallowest distractions. Notifications, alerts, endless scrolling, gossip, busy work. They are thieves of attention, and they are relentless. The modern world is designed to fracture your focus. Companies compete for your attention because attention is currency. If you don't guard it, they will steal it. That's why your 1 hour habit must be defended like a fortress. Turn off devices, silence alerts, remove temptations, create an environment where distraction cannot survive. You must make a choice. Do you want to be entertained, or do you want to be transformed? Entertainment is fleeting. Transformation is permanent. Entering flow state. The ultimate level of focus is called flow. Flow is the state where time dissolves, distractions disappear, and you are fully immersed in your work. In flow, an hour feels like minutes, and your productivity multiplies. How do you enter flow? 3 conditions help. Akatsiya. Clear goals. Know exactly what you want to accomplish in your hour. Challenge. Choose a task that stretches you but doesn't overwhelm you. Too easy and you'll get bored. Too hard and you'll feel paralyzed. Immerse. Remove distractions, and give yourself space for deep work. When these conditions are met, your brain shifts into a higher gear. Your 1 hour habit stops feeling like discipline. It becomes enjoyment, even passion. The practice of single tasking. If you want to master focus, train yourself to single task. Give one activity your full attention, then complete it before moving on. Single tasking feels unnatural at first, because we've been conditioned to juggle. But once you taste its power, you'll see how much faster and deeper your progress becomes. Try this. During your 1 hour habit, commit to one task only. If you're writing, just write. If you're exercising, just exercise. If you're studying, just study. No toggling, no diversion. It may feel slower in the moment, but it is faster in the long run. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Another enemy of focus is obsession with results. When you constantly check outcomes, word counts, weights lifted, money earned, you divide your attention. Instead, focus on the process. Your 1-hour habit is not about what you achieve in one day. It is about what you build over many days. Trust the process. Results will come as a natural byproduct of consistency and focus. As the saying goes, fall in love with the process, and the results will fall in love with you. The Pareto principle, often called the 80-20 rule, says that 20% of actions produce 80% of outcomes. Your job is to identify the 20% that matters most, and dedicate your 1-hour habit to it. Cut out the trivial, double down on the impactful. For example, if you're learning a language, 20% of vocabulary covers 80% of conversations. Focus there first. If you're building a business, 20% of clients bring 80% of revenue. Prioritize them. When your focus aligns with the 20% that matters, your hour becomes a lever that moves mountains. Try meditation, where you train your mind to return to your breath, or practice attention sprints, where you focus on one task for a set period, then rest. Every rep of focus builds mental stamina. Over time, distractions lose their grip. Your brain learns to stay locked in for longer, deeper sessions. Scattered work leaves you drained. Focused work leaves you fulfilled. It gives you a sense of control, accomplishment, and momentum. You no longer feel like life is slipping through your fingers. You feel like you are shaping it with intention. This emotional reward is fuel. It keeps you coming back to your 1-hour habit, not as a chore, but as a gift. Protecting your hour with fierce boundary. Focus also requires boundaries. You must guard your 1 hour from people who don't value it. Friends, family, colleagues. They may not understand why you're unavailable, but this is where courage comes in. Learn to say no. Learn to communicate clearly. This hour is important to me. I'll be available afterward. At first, others may resist, but over time they will respect your discipline, and more importantly, you will respect yourself. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting the space where you become your best self. An unfocused day. Think about this. Many people spend 8 hours at work, yet achieve little. They scatter their attention across meetings, emails, and interruptions. Meanwhile, someone with one focused hour can accomplish more than most do in an entire day. This is the power of focus. It's not about having endless time. It's about using the time you have with ruthless precision. At the end of the week, reflect on how much you accomplished. You will be shocked at the difference between an unfocused hour and a focused one. Closing the chapter. The 1 hour habit is powerful, but only if it is focused. Time without focus is wasted. Time with focus is multiplied. So sharpen your attention. Eliminate distraction. Choose what matters most, and immerse yourself completely. Your 1 hour is not just a block of time. It is the forge where transformation takes shape. When you learn to focus, you unlock the full power of the hour, and once that happens, nothing can stop you. Chapter 5: Energy Mastery. Fueling the hour that fuels your life. Focus and consistency are powerful, but here's a secret most people overlook. The quality of your 1 hour doesn't depend only on disciplines or strategy. It depends on energy. Think about it. What good is sitting down for your 1 hour habit if you're drained, foggy, and unfocused? You may physically show, but mentally you're absent. Energy is the foundation that determines whether your hour becomes transformational or forgettable. In this chapter, we'll explore how to cultivate physical vitality, mental clarity, and emotional resilience, so you can bring your best self into every single session. But in truth, many fail because they lack energy. When you're exhausted, even the smallest task feels overwhelming. When you're energized, even the biggest challenges feel possible. Willpower is like a spark. Energy is the fuel. Without fuel, even the strongest spark dies. Your job is to build and protect the energy that sustains your 1 hour habit. Mental energy, the clarity and sharpness of your focus. Emotional energy, the resilience and positivity of your mindset. When all three align, you step into your hour with power. When even one is low, your performance suffers. Physical energy, the foundation of focus. Your body is the engine of your life. If you want peak focus, you must fuel and care for it. Think of sleep, not as wasted time but as investment in high performance. Nutrition. Food is fuel, not filler. Heavy, processed meals dull your mind. Clean, whole foods sharpen it. Notice how different meals affect your focus. Then design your diet accordingly. Movement. Motion creates emotion. Even 5 minutes of stretching or exercise before your 1 hour can activate energy. A sedentary body breeds a stagnant mind. When you honor your body, you amplify your hour. If it's cluttered, it's hard to work. If it's clear, you can focus deeply. Journaling. Spend 2 minutes dumping your thoughts before your session. Write down worries, to-dos, or distractions. Clear the mental noise so you can focus. Breathing. Deep breathing calms the nervous system and sharpens clarity. Try 4 slow breaths in, 4 out before starting your hour. Prioritization. Nothing drains mental energy like indecision. Decide your task before your hour begins. Enter knowing exactly what matters. Mental clarity multiplies the impact of your 1 hour habit. To rise above them, cultivate practices that elevate your emotional energy. Gratitude. Start your session by writing 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance, fueling motivation. Feel the pride and momentum. This primes your brain for confidence. Affirmations. Speak empowering truths aloud. I am focused. I am consistent. I am building my future. Emotional energy is like the wind in your sails. Without it, you stall. With it, you accelerate. Guarding against energy vampires. Your energy is precious. Protect it from what drains it. Toxic people. Surround yourself with those who uplift, not those who deplete. Digital overload. Endless scrolling scatters attention and drains energy. Limit it before your hour. Neglecting rest. Grinding without recovery is not strength. It's sabotage. Protect downtime so you can perform when it matters. Think of energy like money. Every choice is a transaction. Some activities invest energy, others waste it. Choose wisely. Rituals that supercharge your hour. Small rituals can dramatically boost the energy of your 1 hour habit. Experiment with these. Hydration. Drink a glass of water before starting. Dehydration mimics fatigue. Music. Use sound to prime your state. Instrumentals for focus. Upbeat tracks for energy. Anchor object. Keep a physical item like a journal or a candle that you use only during your 1 hour habit. Over time, it becomes a trigger for energy and focus. Some hours of the day you feel sharp, others you feel sluggish. Align your 1 hour habit with your natural peaks. Morning people may thrive early. Night owls may thrive later. Don't fight your biology. Work with it. If your best energy comes at 7 a.m., claim that hour. If it comes at 9 p.m., protect it. Your habit will feel effortless when it aligns with your energy rhythm. When you begin your 1 hour habit, even if you feel tired, you often end up more energized than when you started. Why? Because momentum creates vitality. Progress releases dopamine. Achievement creates pride. Action generates its own fuel. So don't wait to feel energized before starting. Start, and energy will follow. Which leave you sluggish? Then design your lifestyle around your findings. Keep the energy builders. Cut the energy drains. The difference in your 1 hour habit will be dramatic. Energy and longevity. Remember this. The 1 hour habit is not just about short-term win. It's about building a life of sustained growth. Energy mastery ensures you can continue this journey for years, not just weeks. A drained, burned-out person cannot build a legacy, but a person who masters energy has the vitality to keep going long after others quit. The energy challenge. Here's your challenge. Before your next 1 hour habit, do 3 things. Hydrate. Move your body for 2 minutes. And clear your mental clutter with a quick journal or breathing exercise. Then repeat it daily. Soon you'll create your own ritual of energy mastery. So master your body, sharpen your mind and elevate your emotions. Guard your energy like the treasure it is. And the person who controls their energy controls their destiny. Chapter 6. The Power of Environment. Designing spaces that shape success. You've built discipline. You've strengthened focus. You've mastered energy. Now it's time to uncover another hidden force that determines the fate of your 1-hour habit: your environment. Here's a truth few realize: your surroundings either push you forward or pull you back. Your environment is not neutral. It shapes your decisions, your habits, and even your identity. Most people fail not because they lack motivation, but because they live in an environment that sabotages their growth. Distractions on every table, notifications screaming from every device, clutter that drains focus, people who unknowingly pull them off track. In this chapter, we'll learn how to design environments, physical, digital, and social, that don't just support your 1-hour habit, but actively make success inevitable. Why environment beats willpower. You've probably heard the phrase, "You are a product of your environment." It's true, but here's the deeper insight. Your environment always wins over willpower. Imagine two people trying to eat healthy. One stocks their fridge with fresh vegetables, fruits, and clean meals. The other fills their kitchen with chips, sodas, and candy. Which one needs more willpower? The first person doesn't need willpower at all. Their environment makes the healthy choice easy. The second person will exhaust their willpower every time hunger strikes. Your 1-hour habit works the same way. If your environment is cluttered, noisy, and full of temptations, you'll constantly fight battles you could have prevented. But if your environment is designed for focus, you'll flow into your habit almost effortless. The power of physical environment. Look around the space where you practice your 1-hour habit. Does it inspire focus or invite distraction? Clutter. A messy desk creates a messy mind. Clear everything except the tools you need. Every object in sight should serve your habit, not steal your focus. A fresh scent like citrus or peppermint can boost energy and focus. Over time, it can become an anchor for deep work. Posture and comfort. Choose a chair, desk, or setup that keeps your body engaged. Too much comfort invites laziness. Too little comfort distracts. Find the balance. A workspace is not just a room. It's a signal to your brain. Here I focus, here I grow. Digital environment. Guarding your attention. Your digital environment is just as important as your physical one. Most 1-hour habits are destroyed not by laziness but by digital distraction. Notifications. Silence them. Put your phone in another room if you must. One vibration can break 20 minutes of focus. Apps. Delete what doesn't serve your growth. Rearrange your home screen so the tools for focus are visible and distractions are hidden. Browser tabs. Close everything except what's necessary. Multiple tabs scatter attention. One task, one tab, one focus. Tools of discipline. Use apps that block social media, track focus time, or create deep work sessions. Your devices should serve your goals, not sabotage them. Think of your digital space as a garden. Weed out distractions, plant tools for focus, protect it daily. Social environment. People shape habits. Your 1-hour habit is also shaped by the people around you. Energy is contagious. Attitudes are contagious. Discipline is contagious. Supportive allies. Share your habit with someone who supports growth. A friend, a partner, a community. Their encouragement will fuel your consistency. Accountability partners. Having someone check in can multiply commitment. You're less likely to skip your hour if someone is watching. Boundaries. Protect your time. Teach others to respect your 1-hour habit. Say, "This is my focus time. Please don't disturb me." Uplifting circles. Surround yourself with people who are striving, growing, and disciplined. If everyone around you is leveling up, you will too. If your environment is full of doubters, distractors, or complainers, your habit will always feel like swimming against the current. Choose wisely who you allow close. Environmental anchors. Making the habit automatic. The most powerful way to use your environment is to create anchors, cues that signal your brain, it's time for your 1-hour habit. Over time, your brain will associate that space with deep focus. A cue object, a notebook, a candle, a timer, something you bring out only during your hour. It becomes a ritual trigger. Time of day, charge space. Doing your habit at the same time, in the same place, builds rhythm. Soon it will feel automatic, Anchors reduce decision fatigue. Instead of asking, "Should I start?" your environment answers for you. This is where we focus. This is what we do here. A library feels different from a coffee shop. A gym feels different from a home office. Ask yourself, where do I feel most focused, most energized, most creative? Experiment. Maybe your 1-hour habit thrives in quiet solitude. Maybe it thrives in a bustling cafe. Find the place that amplifies your energy. Identify and eliminate sources of friction that slow down your habit. If you want to work out, keep your workout clothes ready and visible. If you want to write, keep your notebook or laptop within reach. If you want to study, place your books on the desk, not hidden in a drawer. Remove the excuses before they arise. The easier it is to start, the more likely you'll follow through. If your environment is full of distractions, your identity becomes someone who struggles to focus. But if your environment is designed for growth, your identity becomes someone who prioritizes progress. Your environment whispers to your subconscious every day, "This is who you are. This is what you do here." So design spaces that constantly remind you of the person you want to become. Vision boards, motivational quotes, photos of loved ones you want to succeed for. All of these reinforce your identity. Silence or remove digital distraction. Notice how much lighter, sharper, and more focused you feel. That's the power of environment. You don't have to rely on motivation if your environment makes the right choice easy. So build environments, physical, digital, and social, that serve your highest vision. Create anchors that make your habit automatic. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher. Because when you master your environment, you master the stage on which your 1-hour habit performs. And when the stage is set for greatness, greatness becomes inevitable. Chapter 7. The compound effect. When 1 hour multiplies into mastery, by now you've built the discipline, cultivated focus, mastered energy, and designed environments that pull you forward. But there's still question people often ask. What difference can just 1 hour a day really make? The answer lies in a principle so powerful it quietly separates the extraordinary from the average. That principle is the compound effect. Most people underestimate what they can achieve with small, consistent effort over time. They think transformation requires dramatic leaps, when in reality it's the patient accumulation of daily choices that creates greatness. In this chapter we'll uncover how 1 hour done daily compounds into a force that reshapes not just your days but your destiny. Why big results come from small, repeated efforts. Think of compound interest in finance. If you invest even a small amount consistently, the returns multiply over time. $1 today becomes $2 tomorrow, $4 the next, and so on. The growth feels invisible at first, but eventually it becomes unstoppable. Your 1 hour habit works the same way. In the beginning the progress feels small. You may wonder if it's worth it, but with time, repetition, and consistency, the impact begins to multiply in ways you can't ignore. A book is written 1 page at a time. A strong body is built 1 workout at a time. A skill is mastered 1 practice at a time. 1 hour doesn't change your life overnight, but repeated 1 hour at a time, it changes your life permanently. The early frustration phase. Here's where many give up. The early phase. They start their 1 hour habit, but after a week or 2 they don't see big results, so they quit, assuming it doesn't work. This is like planting a seed and digging it up every day to check if it's growing. True growth happens underground, invisibly, before it shows above the surface. When you invest 1 hour a day, results are not immediate, but they are inevitable. The compound effect always rewards the patient. The breakthrough curve. The compound effect is not linear. It's sickness. Imagine a curve that rises slowly at first, almost flat, and then suddenly shoots upward. Months 2 to 6. Momentum starts to build. Skills sharpen. Discipline strengthens. Confidence grows. Year 1 Poan's mastery begins to emerge. Others notice. You realize your hour has created a version of you that feels unstoppable. The breakthrough doesn't come at the beginning. It comes after consistent investment, and when it does, it feels like overnight success. Though in truth, it's the result of daily hours compounding. The mathematics of mastery. Let's put this into perspective. 1 hour a day equals 3 or in 65 hours a year. That's more than 9 full 40-hour work weeks every single year devoted to one specific area of growth. Imagine what you could achieve with 9 weeks of focused immersion every year. Learn a language, write a book, launch a business, transform your health. That's the hidden power of the 1 hour habit. It's not small, it's massive. When viewed through the lens of time, the ripple effect into other areas, the compound effect doesn't just stay in your chosen habit. It spills over into other areas of life. Confidence. Success in your 1 hour habit builds self-belief in everything else. Discipline. The discipline you practice for 1 hour strengthens your discipline all day. That identity influences all your choices. The hour you invest compounds into confidence, discipline and identity that affect your entire life. Guarding the compound effect. Here's the danger. Just as small daily actions compound positively, they can also compound negative. One skipped session becomes a week missed. 1 hour wasted scrolling becomes a habit of distraction. One excuse becomes an identity of inconsistency. Consistency is fragile. Guard it. Even on days when energy is low, do something however small. Protect the chain of momentum, because once broken, rebuilding it costs far more energy. Look at your progress not in days but in months and years. Compare yourself not to yesterday but to last year. When you take the long view, the compound effect becomes undeniable. 1% may feel insignificant, but compounded over a year, it means you're 37 times better than when you started. That's the math of exponential growth. The beauty of the 1 hour habit is that it makes the 1% rule practical. 1 focused hour every day guarantees growth, and that growth compounds until it feels unstoppable. Stories of compounding transformation. After 3 years they've built a career. Or the fitness enthusiast who trains 1 hour a day. At first it's a struggle, but after a year they're in the best shape of their life. After 2 years they're inspiring others. Or the entrepreneur who invests 1 hour a day in their business idea. In the beginning, it's just research, then it's prototypes, then it's clients. Within years it's a thriving company. Each transformation begins the same way, with a single consistent hour. The compound effect in reverse. It's important to understand the flip side. Neglect also compounds. 1 hour of distraction, repeated daily, compounds into wasted years. 1 hour of negativity compounds into broken confidence. 1 hour of avoidance compounds into missed potential. That's why your 1 hour habit matters so much. You're not just investing in progress. You're protecting yourself from decline. Don't measure the results daily. Measure the act of showing up. At the end of 30 days, look back. You'll notice progress you didn't see day to day. More importantly, you'll feel momentum. That's the beginning of compound. Closing the chapter. The compound effect is the silent multiplier of greatness. 1 hour may feel small today, but in time, it becomes enormous. The key is consistency, patience, and faith in the process. Don't judge the seed by its first day in the soil. Judge it by the tree it becomes after years of growth. Your 1 hour habit is the seed. The compound effect is the tree. And if you stay consistent, one day you'll look back and realize that single hour didn't just change your days. It changed your entire life. Chapter 8. Mastery through reflection. Learning from your 1 hour. By now you understand the discipline, focus, energy, environment, and compounding power of your 1 hour habit. But there's another adornment to this journey that transforms good effort into great progress. Reflection is the bridge between action and wisdom. Without reflection, you may practice your habit daily yet repeat the same mistakes, overlook insights and miss opportunities to grow. With reflection, you extract lessons, identify patterns, and refine your practice into mastery. In this chapter, we'll explore how to build reflection into your 1 hour habit, so that every session not only moves you forward, but also makes the next session smarter, sharper, and more effective. Why reflection matters. Consider 2 people practicing a skill for 1 hour a day. Person A simply shows up, repeats the motions, and checks the box. Person B pauses after each session to ask, what worked? What didn't? How can I improve tomorrow? In 1 year, Person A has 365 hours of practice. Person B has 365 hours of practice, plus 365 lessons learned. Who do you think grows faster? The difference is not time, it's reflection. Reflection compounds progress by converting experience into knowledge and knowledge into wisdom. In fact, the best reflection systems are simple enough to do daily. Here are 3 key questions you can ask after each 1-hour habit session. What went well today? Celebrate wins, however small. This builds confidence and reinforces good behaviors. What challenged me? Identify obstacles. This builds awareness and reveals where you need to grow. Aisukiv, what will I do differently tomorrow? Turn insight into action. This creates continuous improvement. Even 5 minutes of reflection can dramatically improve the effectiveness of your 1-hour habit. The journal as a tool for growth. Journaling is one of the most powerful reflection tools. A dedicated journal for your 1-hour habit becomes a record of your growth as struggles and breakthroughs. Daily entries note the task you worked on, your energy level, what you accomplished, and your reflections. Weekly reviews. At the end of each week, scan your entries. Look for themes. Did distractions show up often? Did your energy dip at certain times? Did you notice improvement? Monthly reviews. Summarize your biggest wins, lessons, and areas for improvement. Use this to adjust your approach moving forward. Your journal becomes a mirror, showing you patterns you might otherwise miss. It also becomes proof of your progress, a reminder of how far you've come. The power of feedback. Reflection doesn't have to be solo. Feedback from others can sharpen your awareness. A mentor, coach, or peer can point out blind spots you miss. Seek honest input. Ask, what's one thing I could improve? Embrace critique. Don't resist feedback, use it. Every correction accelerates mastery. Compare perspectives. Reflection gives you your internal view. Feedback gives you the external view. Together they create a full picture. Your 1-hour habit grows faster when you combine self-reflection with external feedback. Reflection versus rumination. Reflection is constructive. It finds lessons and solutions. Rumination is destructive. It cycles in negativity and self-doubt. Guard your reflection process. Keep it short, focused, and solution-oriented. Reflection should energize you, not drain you. Micro-reflection during your hour. Reflection doesn't just happen after your session. It can also happen during your session. If you notice you're distracted, pause for 10 seconds. Ask, what's pulling my focus? Resume. Continue with renewed clarity. These micro-reflections keep your 1-hour habit on track in real time. Short-term, focus on consistency. Did you show up today? Mid-term, focus on improvement. Are you getting better week by week? Long-term, focus on transformation. Are you closer to the person you want to become? Numbers can be motivating, but the deeper reflection is about who you're becoming. Track progress, but don't let the numbers steal the joy of growth. The reflection loop. Here's a system you can use. Adjustment. Apply those lessons tomorrow. This loop creates continuous improvement. Each day builds not just more hours, but better hours. Over time, this is the difference between stagnation and mastery. Reflection as identity building. Reflection does more than sharpen skills. It builds identity. Every time you reflect, you reinforce the belief, I am someone who learns. I am someone who grows. I am someone committed to mastery. Without reflection, you risk becoming a person who simply repeats. With reflection, you become a person who evolves. But the pause is where wisdom lives. When you finish your 1-hour habit, don't rush off. Pause, breathe, reflect. Even 30 seconds can transform the quality of your growth. The reflection challenge. Here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, keep a reflection journal for your 1-hour habit. After each session, write down 1 win, 1 challenge, 1 adjustment. At the end of the week, review your notes. Notice patterns. Celebrate progress. Adjust strategies. So don't just do the habit, study it. Don't just show up. Learn from showing up. Every reflection sharpens your awareness. Every lesson accelerates your growth. And every insight compounds into wisdom. Your 1-hour habit is the action. Reflection is the mirror. Together they create mastery. Chapter 9. Resilience. Protecting your 1-hour habit against life's storms. By now you've built discipline, focus, reflection, and momentum around your 1-hour habit. But let's be honest, life will test you. Unexpected demands, emotional turbulence, and shifting circumstances will try to shake your consistency. This chapter is about resilience, the art of protecting your habit when life gets messy. Because mastery isn't built only on good days, it's forged in the storms, the moments when you're tempted to skip, quit, or let distractions win. If you can hold your 1 hour steady through adversity, you'll build not only skills, but also a kind of unshakable inner strength that spills into every area of your life. Why resilience matters. Imagine two travelers on a long journey. The first walks only when the weather is perfect, clear skies, cool breeze, easy path. The second walks every day, sun, rain, or storm. Which traveler reaches the destination? Your 1 hour habit is the same. Anyone can practice when conditions are perfect. But real transformation happens when you show up despite obstacles. Resilience ensures that your habit doesn't collapse the moment life becomes inconvenient. Common storms that threaten your habit. Let's be real, the world will throw challenges at you. Here are the most common storms you'll face. Intense pressure. Your schedule feels too packed. Fatigue. You're tired from work, family, or stress distraction. Social media notifications and endless tasks compete for attention. Emotional weight, stress, sadness, or frustration make your willpower weaker. Unexpected events, travel, illness, or emergencies interrupt your rhythm. The question isn't whether these storms will come. The question is, how will you protect your hour when they do? 10 minutes of focus beats 0. A half session beats none at all. When life is chaotic, shrink the habit, but don't abandon it. By keeping the chain unbroken, you protect your identity as someone who always shows up. Principle 2. Anchor points. Anchor points are non-negotiable triggers in your day that keep your habit alive. For example, after breakfast, you journal for 1 hour. After work, you study for 1 hour. Before bed, you practice your craft for 1 hour. Even when storms hit, anchor points remind you, this is who I am. This is when I show up. Anchors transform your habit from a wish into a ritual. If you're constantly drained, your 1 hour habit becomes the first thing to suffer. Protect your energy with sleep. Guard your rest as fiercely as your habit. Nutrition. Fuel your body for clarity and stamina. Movement. Physical activity boosts mental resilience. Boundaries. Say no to energy-draining commitments that don't align with your goals. Resilience is not just willpower, it's energy, wisely managed. When you face resistance, reframe it. Instead of "this is too hard," think, "this is where I grow stronger." Instead of "I don't have time," think, "I will protect my priorities." Instead of "I'm too tired," think, "I'll give what I can to." Resilience begins in the mind. How you interpret obstacles determines whether you shrink or rise. The uncommitted person spirals into guilt, then abandonment. The resilient person resets immediately. I missed yesterday, but today I return. 1 missed day is a bump. 2 missed days is a slide. 3 missed days is a collapse. Resilience is the refusal to let setbacks multiply. Building an emergency plan. Every resilient system has a backup. Build an emergency habit plan for your 1 hour. If I travel, I'll practice in the morning, even if shorter. If I'm sick, I'll do a light version, reading, reflection, or planning. If I'm overwhelmed, I'll commit to 10 minutes to keep the chain alive. This plan removes excuses and prepares you for inevitable disruption. It's about balance. Tough enough to persist, gentle enough to forgive. When you stumble, don't drown in guilt. Self-criticism drains energy and weakens resilience. Instead, show compassion. I struggled, but I can rise again. Self-compassion fuels resilience. It turns mistakes into learning, not shame. Case study: the marathoner. Consider a marathon runner in training. On some days, she feels strong. On others, exhausted. Some mornings are rainy, cold, and miserable. yet she runs anyway. Not every run is perfect, not every session is strong, but she shows up resilient through the storms. On race day, she finishes, not because she always had ideal conditions, but because she built endurance in adversity. Your 1 hour habit is your marathon. Every storm you withstand builds the strength to finish your race. But resilience and identity, every time you protect your habit under pressure, you reinforce a deeper identity. I am someone who doesn't quit. I am someone who adapts. I am someone who endures. This identity outlasts circumstances. It becomes a foundation not just for your 1 hour habit, but for every challenge in life. Imagine what happens if you practice your 1 hour habit, not for a month, but for 10 years. In that span, you'll face countless disruptions, job changes, family shifts, health scares, global events. Without resilience, your habit dies with each storm. With resilience, your habit becomes unshakable, woven into the fabric of your life. The challenge of resilience. Here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, commit to protecting your 1 hour habit, no matter what. Life will throw interruptions. When it does, shrink the habit if necessary. Anchor it to your day. Manage your energy. Reframe obstacles. Closing the chapter. Resilience is the shield that protects your 1 hour habit. Without it, you're at the mercy of circumstances. With it, you become unstoppable. Your storms don't define you. Your response does. Protect your hour. Adapt when needed. Restart when necessary. And carry the identity of resilience. Because in the end, it's not the easy days that make you. It's the stormy ones you endure. Chapter 10. The Legacy of 1 Hour. Expanding beyond yourself. You began this journey by asking, what could 1 hour a day do for me? Now, as we close, it's time to end the question, what could 1 hour a day do for the world through me? Because the truth is this, the 1 hour habit doesn't stop with your growth, your discipline, or your transformation. Its true power lies in its ripple effect, how your practice, your commitment, and your resilience impact the lives around you and the generations that follow. This final chapter is about legacy. The habit you've built is no longer just for you. It's a gift you pass on. Why legacy matters. Imagine a stone dropped into a still pond. Ripples spread outward, touching every corner of the water. That's what your 1 hour habit does. When you practice discipline, focus, reflection, and resilience, you change. But others see that change. They feel it. Your growth inspires, teaches, and challenges them. Legacy is the ripple effect of your 1 hour practice. And legacy matters because life is bigger than one person. We are all threads in a vast fabric, and the way you weave your hour into life strengthens the pattern for those who come after. Principle 1. Leading by example. The most powerful way to influence others is by living your values. You don't need to lecture, persuade, or convince. Your 1 hour habit becomes living proof. A child watching a parent read, write, or train daily learns that discipline is normal. A colleague observing your focus learns that commitment is possible. A friend seeing your resilience in storms learns that consistency is strength. When you embody the 1 hour habit, you lead by example, silently, powerfully. Principle 2. Teaching and sharing. Legacy deepens when you share your practice. You might not think of yourself as a teacher, but every time you pass on what you've learned, you multiply impact. Share the books you've read. Share the techniques you've mastered. Share the lessons you've learned through failure and persistence. Teaching doesn't have to be formal. It can be a conversation, a story, or even a quiet encouragement. By teaching, you transform your personal practice into communal wisdom. Principle 3. Building something that outlasts you. A business, a system, or a solution. A philosophy, a culture, or a tradition. When you dedicate 1 hour a day, year after year, you accumulate work that becomes larger than your lifespan. That is legacy. Leaving behind a body of contribution that speaks long after you're gone. The power of compounding legacy. Just as your 1 hour habit compounds results in your personal life, it compounds in your legacy. 1 hour of journaling leaves a treasure of wisdom for future generations. 1 hour of practicing your craft leaves a body of work that inspires beyond your lifetime. 1 hour of service leaves a community touched by your presence. Obstacles to legacy thinking. Legacy can feel abstract. You may think, I'm too small, my actions don't matter. But that's false. History is shaped not only by grand leaders but by countless unnamed individuals who lived with discipline and integrity, shaping families, communities and cultures. Never underestimate the ripple of one committed life. Resilience revisited. Legacy in the storms. Your legacy isn't built on your successes alone. It's built on how you respond in the hard moments. When people see you protect your 1 hour habit despite adversity, they learn that persistence is possible. Sometimes your greatest legacy is not the book you wrote or the skill you mastered, but the resilience you modeled for others when life knocked you down. When you master your 1 hour habit, ask, how can I use this hour not just for myself, but for others? Could you mentor someone? Could you dedicate 1 day a week to serving a cause? Could your hour include creating tools, resources, or stories that others benefit from? Expansion transforms the 1 hour habit into more than personal growth. It becomes a force of contribution. Case study: the unknown mentor. Consider the story of a teacher who for decades dedicated 1 hour each morning to study and reflection. He never published a book, he never sought fame, but he poured his wisdom into his students daily. Years later, those students became leaders, writers, and innovators, each carrying a piece of his legacy into the world. He was never known to millions, yet his 1 hour habit shaped countless lives through the ripple of influence. That is the quiet, powerful truth of legacy. The spiritual dimension. For many, legacy also carries a spiritual weight. Whether you believe in God, the universe, or simply the continuity of humanity, your 1 hour is not wasted. Every act of discipline is an offering, a contribution to something larger than yourself. When you dedicate your hour, you connect to a greater story, a purpose that transcends personal gain. This perspective transforms habit into devotion, and devotion into legacy. Here's how to channel your habit into legacy. Clarify your vision. What do you want to leave behind? Knowledge, art, service, values. Direct your hour. Choose a focus that contributes to that vision. Document the journey. Journal, record, or create evidence of your practice. Share as you go. Don't wait until perfection. Share your growth, your struggles, your wins. The challenge of legacy. Here's your final challenge. Begin thinking of your 1 hour not just as your practice, but as your contribution. Ask yourself daily, how can this hour ripple beyond me? If you write something worth reading. If you learn something worth teaching. If you create something worth passing on. Legacy is built in quiet moments, hour by hour. It's the foundation of growth, discipline, focus, resilience, and now legacy. If you've walked this journey, you know the truth. 1 hour a day doesn't just change your life. It changes lives beyond yours. It builds a legacy that whispers into the future. I lived with discipline. I gave. I left something that mattered. So hold this hour close. Protect it. Honor it. Expand it. Because this 1 hour, repeated day after day, is not just a habit. It is your legacy. Now it's your turn. Take what you've learned and put it into practice. Remember, 1 focused hour a day can transform your entire life. If this audiobook inspired you, smash that like button. Hit subscribe for more life-changing audiobooks and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Your transformation starts with 1 hour. Your legacy starts with one choice, and it starts right now.